All right, let's get right into it. We are all completely obsessed with managing our time, right? With all the productivity hacks, the tips, the tricks. But what if that whole idea, the idea of mastering your time, is just wrong? What if we've been trying to solve a problem that can't actually be solved? Well, that's the big, bold idea from Oliver Burkeman's fantastic book, 4,000 Weeks. So let me start by asking you a question, one that Burkeman puts right at the front of the book. If you live to be, say, 80 years old, how many weeks is that? Just take a guess. The answer is 4,000. That's it. And to use Burkeman's own words, that number is absurdly, terrifyingly, insultingly short. And when you see it written out like that, it kind of hits you, doesn't it? It just changes your perspective on everything. Now, when you see a number that small, your first reaction is probably to panic. I've got to cram more in, I need to be more efficient, do more faster. But according to Burkeman, that instinct is exactly what leads us into something he calls the efficiency trap. This just feels totally backwards, I know. We're taught our whole lives that being efficient is the ultimate goal. But the book makes this incredible point. It's a trap. The more you get done, the more the world sends you to do. You don't actually end up with more free time. You just end up feeling more pressure, more rushed. Burkeman has this perfect metaphor for this. He pictures an unstoppable conveyor belt. Life just keeps bringing new things, new tasks, new emails, new demands. And when we get more productive, all we're really doing is getting faster at grabbing things off the belt. So what happens? Well, the belt just speeds up to match us. We never, ever get ahead. Just think about your email inbox for a second. When you get really, really good at firing off replies, what happens? You get more emails back, people start replying to you faster, you get a reputation for being responsive, and so even more people start emailing you. It is the modern-day myth of Sisyphus. You're pushing this giant boulder up a hill, but you will never, ever truly reach inbox zero. So, okay, if trying to be more efficient is actually a trap, what are we supposed to do? Well, to figure that out, we have to go all the way back to that uncomfortable truth, back to our 4,000 weeks, and just build a whole new way of thinking from the ground up. You see, the real problem isn't that our time is limited. The problem is that we refuse to truly accept it. We treat our limited time like it's some kind of technical problem that we can solve with a new calendar app or a better to-do list. But it's not a problem to be solved, it's just the reality of being alive. So the real question isn't how do I conquer my time, but how do I live a meaningful life inside? And that brings us to the absolute core idea of the whole book. It's a word you might not use every day, but it is the key to everything. That word is finiteness. Finitude is really just a way of saying that we are finite. Our time, our energy, our attention, all of it has an end. And here's the kicker. That's not a bug, it's a feature. It's what makes us human. All of our modern anxiety about time really comes from trying to live as if we're limitless. So this really gives us two ways to live, right? On the left, you've got the standard approach, pretending you can do it all, denying your limits. That path, well, it just leads to constant pressure, always chasing a future that never really comes. But on the right, you have the limit-embracing life. This is where the magic is. You accept that you have to make tough choices. You consciously decide what not to do. And because of that, you can actually find meaning in your life right here, right now. Okay, so if we have to choose what not to do, what to neglect, that means we actually have to get good at procrastination. But wait, probably not the kind you're thinking of. This is about being strategic. This is about creative procrastination. Here's a thought that might just change how you see your to-do list. You are always procrastinating on something. Right now, by watching this, you're choosing not to do literally everything else in the universe. So the real question isn't if you'll procrastinate, it's what you'll procrastinate on. Are you putting off the small, trivial stuff so you can focus on what really matters? Or are you doing what most of us do, putting off the big, important stuff by filling our days with busy work? So Burkeman gives us a few ways to do this right. First, pay yourself first. Just like with saving money, you've got to block out time for your most important work before the chaos of the day takes over. Next, limit your work in progress. Seriously, stop trying to juggle 20 different things. Just pick 2 or 3 active projects and actually finish them. And finally, and this one is so important, you have to resist middling priority. This idea comes from a great story about Warren Buffett. The real danger to your time isn't the stuff that's obviously a waste. It's the pretty good ideas, the kind of interesting projects. They're so seductive, and they feel productive, but they are the real thieves of your precious, finite time. They distract you from the handful of things that could truly change your life. Now, when you really start to embrace your limits and make these choices, something pretty amazing starts to happen. That constant anxiety, that fear of missing out or FOMO, it starts to change into something else entirely. Something joyful. JOMO, the joy of missing out. This is when you realize that choosing one thing, one career, one person to build a life with, even just one way to spend a Saturday afternoon, means you are actively not choosing all the other possibilities. And that's what makes your choice meaningful. I mean, think about it. If you could do everything, then no single choice would matter at all. Look, you are going to miss out on almost everything that life has to offer. That is a guarantee. But once you can really, truly accept that, it stops feeling like a personal failure. In fact, it becomes the very thing that makes the path you did choose so important. You are here, now, doing this. And that's what matters. And so, that leaves us with the only question that really counts. The question isn't, how can I get everything done? The question is this. Since you can't do everything, what is truly worth doing?